There comes a time in every person's life when they realise their government might be lying to them. For some, it's during a scandal. For others, it's when taxes mysteriously go up, but services go mysteriously down. But for Niccolò Machiavelli, that moment came every single day, because he worked for the government. And not just any government. He worked for Florence during the Renaissance, a time when city-states operated like mafia families with slightly more oil paintings. Machiavelli is that one guy in every friend group who takes monopoly way too seriously, declares himself Prince of Park Lane, and then writes a manifesto about it. And yes, that manifesto became The Prince, a book so misunderstood that it turned a civil servant into the mascot for evil political strategy. But let's rewind. Niccolò Machiavelli was born in 1469 in Florence, a city best known for its art, architecture, and political backstabbing. Think of it as Game of Thrones with more velvet. Niccolò grew up watching Medici family power struggles like it was Netflix. When he landed a job in the Florentine Republic's government, he was basically middle management for chaos. His job? Diplomatic missions, foreign affairs, dealing with mercenaries who couldn't shoot straight. Basically, babysitting Italy. At one point, he met Cesare Borgia, the real-life villain who made war crimes look fashionable. And let's just say, Niccolò was impressed. Not morally, of course. Morals are for peasants. But strategically, Cesare could eliminate rivals before breakfast and still make it to Mass. To Machiavelli, this wasn't horrifying. It was inspirational. So when Florence booted out the Medici in 1494, Niccolò got to stretch his legs. He ran diplomatic missions, negotiated alliances, and tried to stop mercenaries from looting cities they were hired to protect. Meanwhile, he noticed a recurring theme. Everyone in power was either lying, cheating, stabbing someone, or all three at once. And the kicker, it worked. Now, in 1512, the Medici waltzed back into Florence like they'd just popped out for lunch. And how did they reward Machiavelli for his loyal service? They fired him, imprisoned him, and tortured him. Classic performance review. When they finally let him go, Niccolò was forced into retirement. Most people in that situation take up gardening. Niccolò picked up a pen and wrote The Prince, the ultimate Dear Diary. Here's how to rule like a sociopath guidebook. And this is where things got spicy. The Prince isn't a bedtime story. It's not even a good ethics manual unless your ethics were written by a Bond villain. Machiavelli basically told rulers to ditch virtue and embrace results. Mercy, optional. Honesty, cute, but impractical. Keeping your promises, only if it's convenient. It was like writing a parenting book that says, slap your toddler if they don't fear you. But here's the twist. Machiavelli didn't mean it as an endorsement. He wasn't handing out free passes to tyrants. He was diagnosing a disease, not prescribing it. He was saying, look, I've seen behind the curtain. This is how power actually works. Still feel good about voting next week? The thing is, nobody reads Machiavelli. They quote him badly. The ends justify the means, a sentence he never wrote. It's better to be feared than loved. Well, he said that only if you can't be both, which is basically every parent of a teenager. The Prince became a political cheat sheet for centuries of rulers who didn't read the footnotes. And while we're on that, Machiavelli also wrote comedies, histories, and plays. But no, everyone just laser-focused on The Prince like it was his edgy college essay that accidentally went viral. His real dream? Getting back into politics. He even dedicated the book to the Medici. Yes, the family that tortured him. Because if grovelling were an Olympic sport, Niccolò would have taken gold. Spoiler alert, it didn't work. He died in 1527, broke and out of favour, buried quietly. No statues, no honours. Just a guy who figured out how the political machine ran and got steamrolled by it anyway. His name went on to become an adjective, Machiavellian, which is great if your dream is to be remembered like a cartoon villain. But maybe that's the point. Maybe Machiavelli was too honest about how dishonesty works. Maybe he saw power for what it is. A theatre production where everyone lies about who's holding the dagger and the audience claps anyway. So the next time someone calls a politician Machiavellian, remember, they probably haven't read the book. But Niccolò wouldn't mind. He'd just smirk and say, as long as it works.